Hey everybody, Julie here from Mostly Caffeinated. It has been a minute, and I think like my last three videos on my channel say the exact same thing. It has been a minute. Let's be real, there's nothing new and big and life altering that is causing all of these gaps in filming or putting out any content anywhere. I'm not putting out content on social media, I haven't put anything on my blog in ages. Is just real life, and I've always promised to be authentic here, and that's what we're doing. I just plain old have not been making anything. I don't know if I've put out a single video since the one like a month or two after my youngest was born, which was 2 years ago. But here we are. And the thing I've been thinking about recently is I feel like almost a video topic. So I think I'm going to talk about it here. And maybe at the end I'll do a little, recent life updates recap thing. So here we go. Here's what I want to talk about. Some ways that an average person with an average or slightly large family can kind of withstand or try to frugally make it through, sort of, if you will, the current situation. If you happen to be watching from not the United States, um, by no means do we over here in the United States have anything to truly complain about. We're a very blessed country. There are many more horrific, challenging, frightening things going on in many other places other than here. But we are in sort of an inflation situation, a not great economic situation. And I'm not going to get into the particulars. I'm not a politician. I'm not an economist. I'm not a statistician. I am none of that. I'm just a mom. I'm pretty smart, not going to lie. I'm pretty book smart, but I'm just a mom trying to, steward what we have frugally, trying to raise my kids without lacking things they need, but without falling prey to capitalist excess either. So here we are. And this inflation situation is sort of hitting us in a couple of areas. Grocery shopping is becoming quite a situation. And I don't really know how to succinctly tie this up, but the way we have always budgeted and lived was like we kept a very conservative budget in order to, on the day to day, not have to worry about the budget. So we did a lot of saving. We were pretty frugal. We tried to DIY as much as we can. We tried not to incur excess expense. We don't we don't pay interest on anything but our mortgage, those kind of things. We don't have debt so that we're not making payments. We don't have car payments, etc., etc. And we made all of those frugality choices so that on the day to day, we wouldn't have to say, do we have $10 to spend on this? Do we have $20 to spend on this? If there was a need in our community or in our church or in our friends or family, we could just help without worrying about our budget. If there was an opportunity to give to a charity, if there was an opportunity to help fund something about a nonprofit, we could just do it and we wouldn't have to worry about it. And I'm not talking about, large amounts of money, thousands of dollars. We don't have that laying around. But if somebody said, hey, we need some supply for school, we could just buy it. Or, this family is struggling, we're going to have a fundraiser. We could spend $20, $30, $40 at this fundraiser and not worry about it. And we're finding that we're no longer able to do that. We do not have the cushion in our monthly budget to do that because as the price of living has been going up kind of dramatically, our income is not going up. I am still at home for at least this school year. My youngest is not yet in any kind of school. So there's not income coming in from me. This small little corner of the internet here, this channel, does not make any money whatsoever. I'm not saying that as an exaggeration. Like, I literally don't have AdSense. I have no revenue that comes in from this. This is just a hobby or to help other people. Every once in a blue moon, I have a speaking engagement that I am sometimes paid for. It's like the cost of one dinner out for my family. And that maybe happens to me every 3 or 4 or 5 months. So our income stream is only my husband's income, and he is a private school educator. We are not we're not rolling in the dough, and it's always been fine up until now. We've had enough wiggle room that we could kind of spend indiscriminately on small things. If we thought of a thing we wanted, we could buy it. If there was a cool grocery in the grocery store, we could get it. If we wanted to like throw a little dinner party, we could do it. And that's not the case anymore. And some of it has to do with groceries and some of it just has to do with incidentals. So the first thing I did, finally I'm getting into it here, 6 minutes in. The first thing I did is I decided to do a no spend September for myself. My children aren't really old enough yet that they're spending household money. They're not even spending their own money. Their piggy banks have like $10 in them. And I don't control my husband's personal spending. I told him I was doing this. Whether or not he decided to join me, I do not know. But I went with no spend September. I bought groceries. I bought paper products for the household if I needed them. I did not buy myself any toiletries. I did not buy any clothing, any stuff. Like all the things I heard of that were cool, the, Amazon things that popped up in my social media feeds, I didn't buy any of those. And in a normal month, I would indulge some. I would buy a few things here and there because I could. And now I can't. So I did a no spend September, and it's almost the end of September today when I'm recording this. It's the 28th, and I have not broken my no spend September. I have not purchased anything for myself personally at all. And what that kind of looks like is I was being more creative with things. I'm using things that I already have. When I got kind of the itch to buy some clothing items or some accessories, I talked myself into instead going in my closet, digging out my fall and winter wardrobe and accessories, and like re-looking at all the things that I already had that I haven't seen in 6 months. And remembering there were some things that I bought at the end of last fall winter that I just packed away because it was no longer fall winter. I was kind of buying, ahead. And so I have some new things that I haven't worn. And that's cool. That's fun and exciting. I have some things that are favorites that I had almost forgotten about. And now that I've dug them back out, I'm like, oh, right. This shirt, for example, is not very exciting looking. I bought it, I don't know, 2 years ago. But it's my favorite shirt. It's got thumb holes. It's warm and fuzzy. I was so excited to put this on this morning. It didn't matter that it was old, I've been digging into my drawer of extra bath products that I've only used part of or I haven't even used yet, like brand new things, like fancy stuff, like Bath and Body Works stuff, Lush stuff, things I bought because there were sales if you bought multiples, and they're just still there because it takes so long to use this stuff for me. I cut my hair as part of my no spend September, frankly, because it takes a lot of hair products to wash and condition my curly hair, and it was like down to my waist. So I hacked this much off. I hacked off 10 inches or a foot at the beginning of the month, and now I only need, normal sized people dollops of hair products, which means that I'm not running out of my expensive conditioner and shampoo as fast as I would be. That was a thing that I did. I'm trying to occupy myself in ways other than impulse shopping, which I never really thought I was doing. Like if you had sat me down and said, "Are you an impulse shopper?" I'd have said no. But absolutely my online shopping history would say otherwise. And this month I haven't done it at all, and I'm feeling really good about that. And I think I'm going to try it again in October. We have several family birthdays in October and November, like our immediate family. So there will have to be some spending, but I'm still going to try to spend nothing on myself in the month of October. Now, we also have a big travel situation upcoming, and this is getting more and more expensive the more I plan and work on it, and it's not really travel for fun. We need to travel for something for my son, who's now an adult, my adult son. Whew, we need to travel for something for him. Um, and it's kind of costly, and because of the situation, it's kind of last minute, which makes it even more costly. It's nothing bad, it's something good. I'm not going to talk about it quite yet. But in order to be there for him for this occasion, we're having to spend quite a bit of money that we kind of don't have. And so I'm really tightening in as much as I can on absolutely everything else to try to make this little travel fit into our budget. When I say we don't have the money, I mean when we set aside for savings and we set aside for our children's education and we set aside for our offerings to our church and we, set aside for the mortgage and we set aside for the groceries, the leftover, there isn't really anything there without scaling back some of those other percentages, and we don't want to do that. So what we're scaling back is the leftover, the spending money. And spending money is normally what we would spend on things like vacations. So I'm really kind of trying to dig deep. I'm doing a little Poshmark selling of things that I was already going to sell anyway. I just haven't gotten off my butt to do it. So this is spurring me on to that. So I guess there's a couple of things. Try a no spend month for yourself. See if you can save some dollars. Try reselling if they're things you already have. I am absolutely not going to go out and buy things to resell. I don't want to put in the risk, the capital to start a venture that may not work. But things I already have that I'm already trying to declutter anyway, that have some value, I'm going to resell those now because they've just been collecting dust in my closet anyway. And then thirdly, grocery wise, we are sort of doing almost like an undeclared pantry challenge. Like really trying to use the things that are in the back of the pantry that we've just kind of been ignoring. We've been putting new in front of every week. I've been ignoring like my dried beans stash, my cornmeal stash, my flour stash. I don't have a big emergency pantry. I do not have a bunch of food storage. I'm both not in a group that urges me to do those things, and that's not really my style, and I don't have anywhere to put those things. So for all three reasons, I do not do long-term food storage, but I do have like 20 pounds of flour in the freezer. I do have several bags of dried beans sitting in the pantry. These are things I bought sort of in 2020, just in case. Like I didn't have the ability, the space, the time to really stockpile, so I didn't, and I didn't need to, as it turns out. But I do still have some things sitting, and I'm trying to make use of those. I made bread for the first time last week, and I know people say that all the time, just make your own bread. I struggle with bread. I have tried it a number of times, it's not worked out. But this recipe actually worked out. It only took, in total, an hour and a half of time, but it did take almost $2 worth of ingredients. And where I live, a loaf of store-bought bread is still $2. So it doesn't really pay off very directly for me to bake my own bread unless it's for fun. If I want bread to be kind of a side to dinner, if I want it to be more exciting for my kids, then I might do it once in a while. But I'm not taking it up for all of our sandwiches and all of our toast. Sometimes I make tortillas, which are a little less expensive than store-bought tortillas. Those are also really simple to do. I would not be here telling you I make this if it was hard. Okay, I don't do hard. I don't have time for hard. Also with flour, things like pancakes and waffles and stuff, which are fairly inexpensive, although with the price of eggs, they're getting more. But my kids like them because we're balancing, 5 different, most of them are kind of picky eaters, with what's available and what's affordable, and it's getting harder and harder, but a pantry challenge is kind of helping that. I didn't actually say I'm doing a pantry challenge, but I personally, as the person who plans and executes all the meals, am digging into my freezer and my pantry and seeing what's in there that I can make. One thing I'm doing to try to make it a little bit fun is on Saturdays, I'm doing like a color meal, which means that it's it's like a reframing. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do with our food, reframing. It's not we can't afford this food, so this is all we have. But it's more of like how can we make this fun while we work on being as frugal as possible. So on Saturdays, what I've been doing is a color meal. So last Saturday, for example, we did like yellow. So I made cornbread and I made some breaded chicken patties that I had in the freezer. And I made something else that would, like noodles, maybe? No, I wouldn't have made noodles with cornbread. I don't remember what the third thing was, but it was also yellow. And so, like, every food on the plate was yellow. And what inspired the meal was honestly, I went in my pantry and freezer and said, what's in here that I can use to throw together to make a food? Must have been a vegetable. I do make vegetables. And usually to me, a meal is some kind of grain or starch, some kind of meat, and some kind of vegetable. So I just went hunting in my house for those things and threw it together. And now I'm just going to do that on Saturdays. Like, let's have an orange meal. And maybe we make like some carrots and some sweet potatoes and some chicken with like an orange sauce on it or something. Maybe we'll have a green meal one day and we'll eat a bunch of things that are green that I kind of find all over. Maybe we'll have a brown meal and we'll make like beef and ooh, beef and noodles is brown because the noodles soak up the beef juice. That's fun. And like a brownie, you know. And it's I don't I don't want my kids to grow up and say there was that one year where mom went crazy and fed us weird scraps of junk she found in the back of the pantry because she said we didn't have any money. I try to tell my children very honestly, these things are expensive and these things are not. So we try to choose the least expensive things when it's possible so that we use our money wisely. I do tell them about that. We talk honestly about math sometimes. They'll ask, "Can we go out to dinner tonight?" And I'll say no, and they'll say, "Why not?" And I'll say, "Look, when we go out to dinner, it costs us $100 because there's 7 of us. And when we eat at home, it costs us like $15. So we can't go out to dinner very often because that would not be wisely using our money." And so I'm trying to kind of be more child friendly about it. Today we're having an orange meal, not the only thing left in the fridge was sweet potatoes. Rather, I picked all these orange foods. Isn't that fun? Or even I can ask them, many of them are old enough to do this. Can you go in the pantry and find something that's green that we could have for dinner? And they could find a can of peas. Or they could find some frozen broccoli in the freezer. Or maybe they want, a salad. Maybe they want some cucumbers. Maybe they want, who knows what they want. Maybe we'll take out the food coloring. Maybe we'll make green rice. Whatever, man. We'll try to make it fun. But the other things that are frugal, the reusing, the making do with what you've got, the mending, all those things that I learned from my grandma and my mother they've always been a thing we've done. I haven't prioritized them much in recent years. I guess I've just been fortunate that I haven't had to. And now we're having to strap back down and really do it again. And that's fine. So there might be more frugal living tips cropping up here and there. So pantry challenges, trying to make it fun. I'm losing my train of thought. Hi, ADHD. What did I say at the beginning? Oh, a no spend September. And selling things I already have that I've already thought of selling, just finally getting down to doing it. There's the 3 things. Okay, tiny life update before I have to stop videotaping this and get some children from a school. Life update wise, let's see. My now adult son is not home at the moment because he's doing something big and important, and I'll tell you about it when I can. The middle ones are all in school. They're all doing pretty well. The little tiny one, he's 2.5 already. Holy cats. And that is, I believe, my last baby. So we shall see. We're going to have some life changes around here pretty soon. When he goes to school, when he's 3, who knows what I'll be doing? And I've been thinking kind of a lot about what I'll be doing. I've got a few speaking engagements coming up, and I really, really enjoy doing those. I don't know if I want to try to market myself and to do those more often and almost make it, a part-time income. I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, would I like it? Yes. Do I know how to market myself? Not really. So I'll see. Maybe that'll be a thing that I get into. I've been volunteering with a ladies group at my church. That's taking some time. I'm still the school librarian at my kids' school. I love doing that. It's really hard to not spend money on the school library, even though I want to, but we're making do with what we've got. We're rearranging. We're trying to make it attractive the way it is without buying any more things. But I really enjoy that. I'm still involved with my public library. All the things that I was doing the last few years, they haven't really changed. Some of them I've gotten more involved than I was before, but here we are. Every once in a while I substitute teach because there's a shortage of substitute teachers, and if the school in question will allow me to take my toddler along with me for the day, then sometimes I do that. But anyway, I need to go grab some of my kiddos from school and then do their homework and all that good stuff because that's part of my job. And we'll see you next time. Bye.